I open it, has got a little crown in it. A crown made of thorns. A crown made of thorns. I'm sure you've been to a big garden in your holidays, or to a garden centre, and you've seen roses growing. Maybe your granny or your grandpa has some of these lovely flowers growing in their garden. Rose plants have thorns growing on the stem, and if you get one in your hand, it is very sore. Where Jesus grew up, there were more than 200 different plants and trees that had thorns on them. And Jesus talked to people about good seeds growing up among thorns, which choke the good seeds so they don't grow. My egg has a crown in it, a crown made of thorns. A crown is usually made of gold. Our queen wears a crown, a king wears a crown. It is a sign of who they are and what authority they have. The crown of thorns they put on Jesus' head was very painful. The crown made of thorns was to mock Jesus, to make fun of him as they beat him. "Hail, the King of the Jews," they shouted. But we know that Jesus is a king. There is no greater king than Jesus. Let's hear more of Benjamin's story. Benjamin continued to walk. If only he could make them release Jesus. But what could a small boy do? He heard loud cries as another crowd gathered at the end of the street. "Hail, King of the Jews," yelled a soldier as Benjamin pushed his way past men and women. And there stood Jesus. Benjamin looked into Jesus' eyes as Roman soldiers threw a shabby robe over his beaten back. He expected to see hatred, but instead saw only love. Just then a soldier shoved a crown of thorns on Jesus' head, and another struck him with a stick. Benjamin's eyes filled with tears. Why were they doing this? A few days ago, everyone had called Jesus a king when he entered Jerusalem. Now it seemed they all hated him. Benjamin squatted down and buried his head in his hands. "Please, God," he prayed over and over, "please make them stop." When he finally opened his eyes, the crowd had moved along, and Jesus was gone. He walked over to where they had scorned his friend and picked up a sharp thorn, broken off the awful crown. He ran home. His parents paused to hear his story and then sadly shook their heads and went back to their work. Benjamin placed the thorn and leather strip in his box.